Hi everybody, sanibonani, welcome to my channel. Igama lami Ntando Mdletshe, and on this channel siyayibuka ama reality shows ethu alla eMzansi bese siza la sokhuluma ngawo lama shows, siyaphinda ke futhi sikhulume ngama celebrities kanye nama YouTubers ethu alla eMzansi. If it's your first time joining me today and you really like my content, do not forget to press the subscribe button la ngezansi kanye ne notification bell ukuze phela uthole umyalezo uma ngabe umsebenzi omusha sesiwufakile. You guys, today I want to talk a little bit more about Ntando Mseleku, and today I want to acknowledge umsebenzi omkhulu owenziwe by the kids of umndeni Mseleku. The kids did a great job this season, you guys. It's not over yet, the season, but we are closer to the end, and I think they've given us a lot, the kids. You guys, imagine if we didn't have the storylines that we got from the kids, how boring the show would be, because basically Ntando Mseleku, when it comes to the wives, they keep recycling the same storylines or the same storyline. At the beginning of the season, of course, we got the most boring storyline that we were so over, which is historical number 5, which has been recycled through 4 or 5 seasons. And then after that, there was a story of the gates, which I think that story has been recycled like 3 times. And then we get the story Mishado as to who is married, who is not married, and then you always get Umacele at the end wanting to stop the weddings. Wanting to stop the wedding. So it's always just the same thing over and over, and there's always this one fight that happens between the wives. Last season it was Umacele kanye noMangwabe bebanga ukuthi the kids is Gamacele greeted Umangwabe, and Umangwabe did not respond. And this season is the makeup. They are fighting about the makeup artist, you guys. So honestly, I have to acknowledge that without the storylines that we got from the kids this season, really honestly, this season would have been boring, you guys. Number one, I want to acknowledge Mpilo, okay? I feel like Mpilo really played a very important part this season. Honestly, I'm feeling like all of the adult kids this season should be getting paid because they played their part, okay? Mpilo, guys, gave us a very personal story, a story that is relatable for a lot of people, where you have become an adult and your parents haven't done what they're supposed to do in terms of sorting out the surname issue. There is a lot of people that can relate to that story. You get to adulthood now and you think that you should have taken the surname, your father's surname, and you haven't, and you don't understand why your parents didn't do it when they were supposed to do it. Now you are stuck being the one that has to bring both these people together so that they can sort out their issues, so that you are able to do what you want to do. We saw the storyline as well with Inganeka Somizi trying also to do the same thing. So it really is an important storyline, you guys. So I acknowledge and I appreciate the fact that Mpilo was able to give us that story. I hate that they haven't wrapped it up, because really it would be great if we see these storylines to the end during the season, instead of leaving it as it is and then next season they resurrect, you know, uvuka kwabafileyo njengoJesu now storyline, instead of ukuthi basiqedele this season. What is the conclusion when it comes to stories Mpilo and her changing her surname to Mseleku? Can we please get that? But I appreciate the fact that she contributed so much. She made the show interesting. For that episode that we watched her have that meeting with Umakhumalo no Babwake, it really made that episode really interesting. Also, I wish that they would have given us a chance to see interaction between Mpilo and Omawake, because it almost seems like Mpilo doesn't have a relationship with her biological mom, because we never see them together. I think it really would add a certain flavor to the show if they showed us more of interaction Mpilo and no Mawake, like her biological mom, you guys. So I appreciate Mpilo this season. Secondly, you guys, I do appreciate Usne. As much as, of course, we have issues with Usne. Usne is like Ntando, Benosiyacela, from Isencane Lengane. There's so many things where you want to scream at the TV when you are watching the show. but at the same time they give you so much drama that you can you can only appreciate them because they make the show exciting. That is the thing about Usne. Stories Kasne, guys, is relatable for so many people. There are so many people that are so lost in life trying to figure out their lives after going through a traumatic childhood, where everybody expects now that you must just fix your life and everything must be perfect, but you are trying to fix your life, or you feel like your life is fixed but everybody around you feels like your life is not fixed. There is so many people that can relate to Sne's story, and also there is this thing that everybody can come at Usne because everybody feels like their life is much better than Sne. My life is a mess, but not as much of a mess as Sne's life is. The pregnancy storyline, as much as I know it was unplanned for her to be pregnant this season, it has given us so much, because the interaction that we saw between her and Mdletshe, the interaction that we saw between her and Ubabwake, and also a whole lot of stuff going on online, on TikTok, on Facebook, Give Abantu and all of that. That whole thing promotes the show, you guys, because there are people that are going to hear about this thing of Usne Give Abantu. What is Sne talking about? Oh, it's on Ntando on his team. People are going to get to watch the show. Actually, the kids are working very hard compared to the wives when it comes to the show. That's why I say, I hope they are getting paid, okay? And then we move on to Ulwandle, you guys. As much as Ulwandle is almost like that silent cast member, because he doesn't say a lot, but he appears in scenes that are very significant. Remember, he was the one that was going around giving the wives the flowers and the invitation from their mom for their 20th anniversary. And also Ulwandle comes up a lot, even if he is not part of the scene, he's not shooting scenes, but he comes up a lot in conversations, because remember, he's the one that fetches the kids from the school. He drives the kids around. He was the one that was trying to teach Usne to drive. Also, Ulwandle comes up a lot because of what Mseleku views as his responsibility when it comes to the Mseleku household. So he's a very important part of the show, you guys. So we appreciate that he gets to share his life, though, even though we would like to see Ulwandle speak a little bit more, you guys. And then there is Mpumelelo, you guys, who is the typical Musa Mseleku Junior, you know, in all the ways that we can think of. He does bring a very interesting storyline, you guys, because being such a young person, because you would think that young people would be like, Istembu, what? You mean me? Istem, that, you know, I wouldn't do that. For young people to actually be willing to get into Isitembu, and for us to be able to see that on TV, and also be able to see a little bit of his journey, even though the show has not focused on him so much. We appreciate that. It's so great that we get to see that on the show. It added some flavor. That episode where they were doing a birthday party of Ingane Yabo, and he was introducing the girls, it gave them something to talk about on that episode, instead of us focusing on the wives. Because remember what the wives were saying. Umayeni was sitting there in the kitchen not wanting to meet the girls. Umangwabe was late, and then obviously they were sitting here, and then when Umangwabe came, they were not wanting to talk to Umangwabe because Umangwabe was late at the party. So imagine if Mpumelelo's story was not in the mix, how boring would that episode had been. And then, you guys, bese siba no Zenande. Honestly, you guys, story sika Zenande, I have understood why they have treated it as like a touch and go. They would not go into details about it because it's such a personal journey. And when a medical issue relates to a child, it's very difficult to know how much to share, because as much as it is your journey as a parent, but it's your child's journey. So you have to be very careful that you don't expose your child too much. You don't tell too much when it comes to your child's medical condition. But I appreciate that this season we got to see a little bit more of that journey. Even Kamangwabe, I mean, what is Mangwabe's story really this season if it wasn't for Uzenande? So she really just added some flavor to his storyline, Sigamawake. And then the last, you guys, but not least, okay? Oh, it's not the last, okay? Sorry, it's not the last. And then there is the girl Kamachele, you guys. Abongo, you guys. I don't know why I'm forgetting. And then there is Abongo. You guys, first, okay. I think that with Historisika Abongo, while you remember when they had the function for her when she was coming of age, I remember thinking how difficult it was going to be if she ever has to actually come out on the show. And as much as there were moments in this season where I felt like she might not have been prepared to talk about certain issues, I did feel like her issue was something that a lot of people can relate to. I think that, when your child comes to you and say, listen, I am a lesbian, if they are lesbian, I am gay, it's something that is a lot of people can relate to that story, even in a way that Ubaba Mseleku has dealt with it, in a way that Mdletshe has dealt with it. So I really love ukuthi Abongwe shared her story. I'm hoping, guys, and praying that she did it willingly. She's not gonna feel like she involuntarily shared her story when she wasn't ready yet. But I appreciate Abongwe's story, you guys, and also just for us being able to see her going to the matric dance and all of that. It was an exciting episode, actually, and it's also the episode where the show was actually exposed in people seeing that the show was actually a production and it was actually scripted. A little bit, okay, we don't want to say scripted all the way. And then the last but not least, you guys, of course we have to talk about Ulungelo. I will talk about Ulungelo as if he is an Mseleku kid, you guys, because he is that child that took Ubaba Mseleku or takes Ubaba Mseleku as his father, you guys, because at some point he did think ukuthi Ubaba Mseleku was his biological father. Listen, you guys, ukufika kukaLungelo to the show brought so much of volume to the show. It's almost like the show becomes more interesting again. Like even if you were about to give up on watching the show, you came back just to hear stories kama Saul. For him to come back, actually it was so good for us because we actually got to learn more and we got to research more about his mom, and in a way, in his mom's memory, we understand his mom's journey with the Mseleku family better now because he came to the show. The fact that he came and spoke his truth, he was honest, and on top of that, he is like a cute looking boy, so he was a pleasure to look at in the show. That interaction of him with Uma Khumalo, guys, was so interesting, and I feel like it challenged Uma Khumalo in the way that she did not expect, and that's what we want to see on a reality show. I appreciate him so much. I'm hoping, you guys, that they do have another scene that is planned between Ulungelo and Mseleku so that we can see more of him and also we can hear more from that story. Also, you guys, ukufika kaLungelo, I think that's what pushed storyline Sigama Khumalo in terms of her explaining her coming into the family. A lot of the things that were revealed in terms of how Uma Khumalo got together with Mseleku while she was friends with unkosikazi kaMseleku. That story came out because it was a follow-up after Ulungelo had come to the show. So his coming to the show actually pushed a lot of information out that we wouldn't have been able to find out had he not come to the show. And also we were able to connect so many dots just because he came and had that sit down with Uma Khumalo on the show. I feel like this season, honestly, we should give it to the kids. Honestly, if anything, they should be paid more than the wives because they have definitely given more than the wives have, you guys. So I hope even next season they do like a really good mix up between the adults and the children, because I feel like with the adults sometimes the storylines can be a little bit boring, and also because sometimes they run out of things to tell in terms of stories. It feels more scripted when they tell the adult stories than it does when they tell the children's stories. So I hope honestly next season they give us more of the kids. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Tell me what has been your favorite storyline when it comes to the kids Mseleku this season. What is the story that touched you? What is the story that you feel you want to hear more of in the next season or in the next episodes, because this season is still not over. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like it before Pumegona. Share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers in Ntando. Cool.